Yo, yo, yo. No Jeremy yet, but no problem. Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, rain or shine. Jeremy or no Jeremy, he'll be calling in soon, but I'm going to get us started here. Man, I'm trying to bring the energy and the pep. Travis Hunter out for the rest of the season. It's okay. We're here for the people. There are other fantasy players. Life goes on. Oh, bloody. Let me hit the intro button if this works, and let's get into it. What is up, Luke? First one in here. And what an interesting starting point for the stream. Down tiering from JT. Is that a thing people do? Down tier from JT. So what's the Luke, if you give me the scenario too, I'd be curious, because I feel like especially absolute hammer smashes like JT, where it's just like rest of the season, insane workload, like you just obviously lock it in, RB1-2 projection on the week every single week. Like, what is the specific scenario where you want to down tier? Like, is it a deep enough league, you're contending still, but the format, like your roster is not strong enough to compete even with JT? Or is it like a true 1 year punt rebuild type of thing? Let me know, because I don't want to just throw out like this player in a first, you know, because as far as like contending goes, hard to move off of JT, and that's the kind of guy people are trying to overpay for. Deep league, not a contender because too many injuries. Thinking about going for someone like Judkins, Hampton plus a first. Yeah, I mean, I like those kind of moves. Like I love JT, and I think the running back for me is like really what you're giving to me now and in the next like 1, 2, 3 seasons. And JT is still going to hold that heading into next season in terms of startup drafts. Like he's going to be going, I mean, obviously not with the Bijan and Gibbs of the world, but I think he'll be pretty close to, like, I don't know why Breece is always the name that comes to me, but when people were excited about Breece, you know, I don't think he'll go too far behind Hampton. So getting a first on top of that, I do like when I don't need him. Yo, what's up, Diaz? What's up, fellas? What's up, Brandon? GGP, what's up, Sean? Eric, looking to acquire a wide receiver to help seal the league. Let's go. I'm first in our Superflex 0.5 PPR, 8-2 currently. Amon-Ra, Jacoby, Judy, and Ken Coleman. QB plus running back situation is great and ready to shift picks. Yeah, Eric, let me know how many starters. So I see it's 0.5 PPR. And honestly, the QB and running back situation in a half PPR is kind of where I want to be, especially if there's no tight end premium. Like, yes, there's a lot of receivers I'd rather be starting weekly than Jerry, Judy, Keon, and Jacoby, at least currently. But yeah, I'm curious, format, any tight end premium, how many starters? Because I think that'll change how willing I would be to like tack first on to, you know, Judy's and Keon's to really up tier, especially since you're already 8-2 and first. Kyle, what's up? 12 teams start 10. Okay, wait. I'm pausing. I think he's ready. We're ready to unveil our special guest, Jeremy. Once I click over to the other, let's go.
Yeah.
Tall Jeremy.
We're back.
No worries. We and no intro, okay? You missed the intro. You don't get the cute little intro. We're going straight into Kyle's question here. 12 teams start 10. 0.5 tight end premium. Last in max points for by 1 point. Looking to shed points. Good call. And result for next year. Burrow, who's sounds like he might be coming back. The practice window open. I was not expecting it to be this soon. Yeah. With all my Flacco teams, was really kind of hoping it wouldn't be this soon. But no, I would never hope for not elite players or elite players to not come back. All right, Burrow, Bo Nix, back up. So we get running back, decent wide receivers, chasing Puka. Would you deal Bo Nix for Kyler in a mid to late first to solidify the 101 and roll with Kyler as QB2 next year? I mean, these are the kind of moves, especially when you're shedding points, that you want to do. But is Kyler too spooky for you? Mid to late first.
I mean, I don't hate buying Kyler right now just because people are so low on him that
Yeah.
it's almost ridiculous. Um, because even if I think realistically he probably will be on a different team, but even if he is on a different team, it's not like the Raiders or the Jets or like there's not 2026 isn't loaded at the QB position. There's bound to be a team to have to take a risk on him.
Yeah.
But um
We'll see though. I will say
I
shout
don't
out
know.
to Dane Brugler. Athletic draft stuff. Like one of the names I do follow in terms of like prospect stuff, and put out his top 50 today. And I do have the top 25 we could pull up at some point, just because I know we're kind of getting to the point where you start to put like players to picks, not actually, because I think you can really only do that at the high end, like heading into the draft, since the first rounds are so insane. But I will say, I think more receivers and quarterbacks than I think people would expect in a top 50. But granted, I looked back at last year's top 50, and I think there was some Jalen Milroe, some which wasn't too far off, but in terms of like super flex expectations in a rookie draft. But
I
yeah,
will say I kind of like the process here of like if I'm in a rebuild or like retool, can I get off of a Bo Nix? Because is Bo Nix going to be in that elite difference making tier? Probably not. He's probably going to be in that like slightly better than Trevor Lawrence type tier of like Brock Purdy types for a while. Like I think that's kind of where he'll be from a fantasy perspective. But my one thing would be maybe I can get a little bit more. Like tossing a little bit more than a mid to late first on top of Kyler. But I don't hate the process there. I might just try to be a little bit more greedy.
yeah, I do like like these kind of moves where it's very determined how each person is positioning themselves. Like you're moving a first on top of a quarterback that's probably not going to play for the rest of the year, or is at least on IR right now in Kyler. I feel like those are the kind of moves where it's like, okay, and you take my Aaron Jones and I get this back, like I get a, whatever, second, third swap or that kind of deal. But, I don't want to hop all over the place, but as heading into this year, Aaron Jones believers, pretty good workload this last game. The Mason Jones
solid.
split was pretty different. Let's go Eric start 10. Okay, this was the one that we were looking at before, so we can go back to that. But loving the pillows.
Start 10.
Loving the pillows, Jeremy. It does look like we got some different colors
Pillows
going
are
on
back.
there. These new pillows, are these
It's a bit
fall
of a mess right now.
Christmas
It's a bit
pillows?
of a mess.
That's I think I'm
Honestly,
boxed out.
no, they're just the normal ones.
Shout out to me. Might be moving pretty soon.
Oh,
Like 3 minutes from where I currently live. But might have
that'll be fun. It's always fun to pack everything up and
it's a blast. I'm having a really good time filling the garage with a bunch of boxes. But no, we the man I got man cave approval, which is huge. So that's exciting. All right, thinking of down tiering. Thank you. Thinking of down tiering from Kyren Williams due to playoff matchup schedule. It says he's losing touches to Corum. Thoughts? I mean, I don't hate it. The only thing with Kyren is you do get like, in terms of down tiering, you do have the contract extension window that is nice with like running backs in Kyren's range, where like even though he is going to lose work to Corum, dude, we talk about I don't want to get too NFL-y, but man, the Rams are looking good, dude. Offense and defense.
they look good.
I mean, Stafford's a stud. They're doing a lot of funky like too heavy personnel, but passing out of it. And yeah, I don't necessarily love selling running backs that have decent roles in awesome offenses. But with that being said, what would you be looking to? I feel like I'd almost rather use Kyren to get up than to down tier. Because I think production-wise, the down tiers are a little sketchier. Unless you want to go down to like Rico and just try to get the uncertainty tax for like the next couple seasons.
Yeah, I was just looking at the running back rankings, and it is kind of like the hard part with a guy like Kyren is Kyren could have like a James Cook like workload at through a 5-week stretch or something where all of a sudden he's a top 3 RB in fantasy.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to like tier down to like Yeah, like who do you go down to? Like a Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle, DeAndre Swift. Like I don't know if it's really worth it versus saying, could I tack a second onto Kyren and get like a Judkins who's currently slacking the past couple of weeks, or go for a Bucky or someone like if I'm really
Oh
concerned about the
man.
workload,
Yeah.
I probably look to shift within the tier or potentially bag some future dynasty value than be like, let me go down and get Alvin Kamara plus something, because I just at this point I'd rather have the somewhat insulated piece of Kyren.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go too far down. And I think it's hard to find people willing to do, like, especially when if they're going to Kyren versus going to like the tier above in like the James Cook,
Mhm.
CMC, A chain production types. I don't feel like a lot of teams want to tack on a first on top of like Rico Dowdle or other running backs in that range. I feel like it's
Yeah, I
usually
mean,
like cross
I see a lot of
positional.
firsts and seconds in the trade database. Kyren and Blake Corum for Allgeier and Saquon Barkley and 12 team start 10. Uh,
Let's go.
2 seconds, but nothing that's like super exciting, I guess. Maybe a cross positional. I see like a Ricky Pearsall in a first for
We
Kyren in a third.
He's on the thumbnail. We haven't talked about Trayvon yet, but I see this basically straight up 12 team start 9, 0.5 tighter premium Trayvon in a fourth for Kyren.
Might not be able to do that anymore.
It was a day ago. First and second. I mean, I would love to tear down from Kyren if it's two. Like, I see Zay Flowers in a first. I know you're talking about some of these deals where you're
Yeah,
getting like a solid
like a
piece.
Waddle or a Devonta Smith. Which, by the way, I remember I thought I was taking crazy pills when we were doing the Devonta Smith price check a couple weeks ago, and everyone's like, "Yeah, a second." I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish I bought more of him.
straight up. I mean, it's kind of been a trend over the past like 2.5 seasons since AJ Brown's been with Philadelphia that the production has been pretty neck and neck, and I think we just remember the AJ Brown blow up games more than we remember the Devonta Smith blow up games. But yeah, shout out to video game emoji here. Yeah, in a super flex 10-man start 9, what kind of running backs do you think I could get for the 106 110? Okay.
10-man
10-man start 9, super shallow.
super flex.
Yeah, let me do.
So running backs.
I think the hard thing about mid to late feeling first round picks, like you do have to find the team alignment at this point in the season, right? Like I think it's hard to pull off running backs that are worst to first on contending teams that you want to buy. But yeah,
I feel like the line is like Derrick Henry.
yeah.
Like if
10
it's
10-man
leaning
start
more of a
9.
late, I think that's kind of where the line is. Because like if I'm just looking at the rankings, like above it is like Trayvon Henderson, Breece Hall, Kyren Williams, and I
Yeah.
don't know if like Josh Jacobs, like you're not getting like a late first for Josh Jacobs unless if they're like completely, desperate on a terrible team.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like anyone's gonna really want to trade those players for just like a random late first, especially in a shallower league. Because I mean, not to get too into the future with the 2026 draft class, but I do feel like the top will be heavy, right? That we will have like the Love,
Yeah.
and we'll
Some of the
have
receivers that
a
might
couple wide
go,
receivers,
Tate
probably
and
like 3, 4
Tyson.
first round wide receivers. But outside of that, like I think those late picks, people are going to really be out on because you just don't have that QB class to really carry a lot of the depth. And I think it's honestly like Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Javonte Williams. That's kind of the range you're looking at when
Yeah.
it's just kind of a random late first. You might need to add a little bit to it to get to the Kyren, Jacobs, Breece Hall type player.
Yeah, the thing with these 10-man start 9s too, like there's a part of me that looks at the 10 team aspect of it and is like,
Mhm.
Worst case scenario, the 110, like that's pretty sick. Like in terms of, hit rates.
No, that is true.
But I also think there is some merit to these really shallow leagues. Whenever you can turn like a singular first round pick into difference making production, when you're only starting 9 players, like that is something that I'm usually more willing to do in those shallow leagues. Because that first round pick, like quote unquote hitting for your team, is more of like a value win when each year it's very easy to have a solid bench and good depth. So like the Luther burdens that you like hold on to that you would take in like the 110 112 range matter less than give me a year and a half of Derrick Henry. Give me 2 years of Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, like I feel like it's if I can buy Derrick Henry going out with a bang, it's going to be way worth it in a league like that. Because another aspect of it is you actually have to start that guy. It's worse when you
Yeah.
have like a Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, where it's either they go for 30 or they go for 2. It's like if they go for 2, that's going to kill you in those shallow leagues.
Mm-hmm. Next one here, Victor Lynn, 12 by 10, half PPR. Thinking of sending Rice and 2 26 thirds for Rome and a 27 first. 12 by 10, half PPR.
On the Rome side here, I feel like
I
the
think
value is really good there.
I think it's closer than you might think. Like Rome and a first for Rice, especially in terms of like expectations for the season. But yeah, I think 12 by 10, especially in half PPR, I'm down to do that. Like the elite receiver difference that might end up happening between Rome and Rice, or at least is looking that way slightly, I think it's canceled out by the 2/3 for a first.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like that the leverage is so much higher. Like the gap between Rice and Rome on the Dynasty Daddy trade values is wide receiver 10 and wide receiver 13. And on keep trade cuts,
It feels
it's
larger than that
literally
in
wide
terms of
receiver 10 and wide
expectations, but
receiver 11.
yeah.
It is, but I mean like sentiment changes, man.
Yeah.
Like early in the year, people are like Rome is it when he was ripping off, like 30-point games and all that stuff. And obviously things can change. That offense has been inconsistent with getting Rome involved, but
Yeah.
if I'm playing the game of a half PPR league and I'm getting a 27 first, I'm just trying to get in every 27 first I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Rome. I think that's even stacked with liking Loveland and Burden. Like I think Burden is probably like hopefully the DJ Moore replacement, and
Mm-hmm.
start seeing more Loveland. I do
Send
have
DJ Moore back to Carolina.
what you the first, what was it? I've been watching some this is the start of the season where I like start checking into like college football, because I think the prospect stuff really starts taking off once we get towards the middle to tail end of the season, where there's a little bit more of a feel for like who's going to declare, how have the QBs been playing. And first mock that I watched, listened to all the way through, had Carolina Panthers taking a receiver in the first round. Again.
I was listening to the NFL Stock Exchange guys, and they
Yes.
had Makai Lemon, and
Yeah,
I was
that's
I
what it
was
was.
like, honestly, I love that. I would love
Yeah.
a Lemon falling that hard, because I mean the thing is, the more you look at it, there's like 4 really good wide receivers.
Yeah.
In 2026 with Boston, Tate, Lemon, and obviously Tyson.
Yeah. I think there were
And then I have to
4
throw
in the
out
top
NC
25.
State transfer, Casey Concepcion. He's currently at A&M, but he might sneak in to a late first as well. So
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think not in terms of like 2026 is, I'm going to say it's as strong as 25 or going to be as strong as 27
27
that
is going to
people are
be
hyped. That one I think is like rightfully hyped, but I think the like fall off from 26 where people are talking about, let me trade all my 26s for any 27 I can get, like that I think is very overblown when you look at some of the high end receivers that might go first round that you were just talking about, and the Jeremiah Loves of the world. If we get 2 quarterbacks in the first round, that's going to make it a lot stronger as well. Because this last class, like obviously the running backs, like top end, Genty, Hampton, But the quarterbacks being Cam Ward, Jackson Dart. And then after that point, it was like, Shuck in the start of the third round for people. Jalen Milroe, rushing upside. Like, I think the whole, like, lackluster quarterback class is a little bit overblown in terms of, like, first round picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference is you just have like a tidal wave of 2027 just being absolutely loaded with probably Arch Manning also being involved in 2027 since his slow 2026 start. And then you add in just the absolute insane wide receivers at the top end there. And then a lot of the high end hype 2026 prospects not really landing, like Sellers and Nussmeier, and a lot of them have kind of fizzled out so far. And Millar. So now you're kind of sitting there and being like, man, I wish I have, like, if you're feeling good if you have like a top 4 or 5 pick in 26. But after that, it's like I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm looking at in that range.
Yeah. What's up, Kyle? What would 3 firsts get you in a player? If you had two 26 firsts and a 27. And let's assume, like, obviously you're looking at contender wise.
12-man start 10.
And then 2 firsts.
I mean, I think you can get into conversation with anyone pretty much with 3 firsts.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, that is like I think the starting rate for like the Chase receiver tier is like usually 2 firsts and a decent player, like, you know, JMO and 2 firsts or something, like at least above that range of receiver. Jordan Addison and 2 firsts or something. So I think 3 firsts is for sure in the conversation with those players. It's more of like finding the manager that is going to play ball with you.
Yeah, like you can't go to the number 1 team that has Josh Allen or whatever and be like, get 3 firsts for Josh Allen. Like, that's not going to really work.
Yeah.
But if you have like one of those rebuilding teams that has just like a random JSN or something, and like, here's 3 firsts, like JSN by himself isn't going to carry you.
Yeah.
That would be a deal that I could see happening just because it fits both of y'all's windows.
Yeah. Tattleman bought Puka for that this last offseason. I think I did the same. Actually, I think it was one of the first messages I put in the Dynasty Daddy Discord was one of my trades that was basically 2 firsts and a player for Puka, and there was a quarterback swap in there as well. But yeah, I think those type of assets.
A good quarterback swap.
I do love a good QB swap. Yeah, it was it was moving off of Kyler to get Mahomes, so
worked out for you.
Not too mad about that, but yeah, so I think that high end range of receiver for sure, like the 3 firsts for Puka, like I would not bat an eye if I saw that in a trade. And I could understand it on both sides. So like if you are, you know, 12 by 10, 12 by 11, you've got Puka, but then the rest of your team is either, you know, riddled with injuries, not strong enough to compete.
Where do you draw the line? I guess with my, like, when you
send
3 first round picks for Drake May.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the like format bailout, but I think Jayden Daniels still, like, I still have CeeDee in that range. I think it would be more like
Jalen Hurts, CeeDee.
Yeah.
Mahomes,
I would.
Neighbors.
I think once you start getting to, it's tough to do it with like some of the tight ends because I think the type of tight end premium matters a lot for that. I could see myself doing it in like 0.5 and aboves for Bowers or McBride. But usually it's like, the thing with those kind of moves is you're sucking yourself pretty dry if you're doing it for a singular player. But if you built up that war chest, I think that range. So if I was stopping, it probably would be, I wouldn't want to go, like QB wise, I wouldn't want to go Bo Nix and below, I don't think, for 3.
Yeah, I think Bo Nix is kind of the line.
Yeah, like I would do it for, I could see myself doing it for like Herbert.
I don't think I would do it for Burrow.
Yeah.
Like Burrow, Dart.
That one's also kind of why would you do that right now? Running back, I think Achane for sure is in that.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think that might be the edge if you're looking at like Christian McCaffrey and the Dynasty asset value wise, James Cook below that. So it might be Achane, might be the running back line for me.
Achane.
But I don't
I feel like
I don't think I'm necessarily doing that though, even though I love HN.
yeah, that's the thing is like I try to at least keep first just because the flexibility aspect. Like there's an extra premium of I'm trading away, like I'm consolidating a lot of very valuable players
Yeah.
in sending away 3 first round picks.
Mm-hmm. Are you a proponent of just trying to make the playoffs and let luck take its course? Very interesting question. I think I'm a bigger proponent of I will do the push in moves. And when I say push in, I'm not talking about all in, every single first I own, all my seconds to build the strongest contending team. But the like little push in moves where I will push my own next year's first in is when I'm trying to secure the buy because of like how much of a benefit that gives you to your chances of winning the league, getting that first round buy. So if I'm like a top 2 to 3 team and I think that this one move will like increase my chances of getting that buy, I'll do that. But yeah, all my teams, I'm just trying to make the playoffs. So I wouldn't push too hard to like if you're third or fourth and you feel pretty confident you're going to make the playoffs and it's a little bit of a long shot for you to get the bye just because there's one undefeated team and then the other one is just as strong. I don't feel the need to like try to build the strongest contending roster to go up against those guys when I don't think I'm going to get the bye. So I wouldn't be pushing in my own first. I at that point, I would probably just hold on to the flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said the story before. One of the first mistakes I made was I had a team that was locked up for the bye. It was a team that was 26-2 with median, but it was like I was so far ahead of everyone else. I was guaranteed pretty much a bye, and what my logic was, let me go and just buy Christian McCaffrey averaging 30 points per game. That the that it was like 3 years ago, and I'll send away 2 first round picks. And I did. I lost in the finals because just luck happens. So even if I'm stacking the deck, that can happen.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, one of those picks turns out to be Marion Hampton, and another late first round pick. And I'm like, man, like I already had it made to where it's like if I'm in the playoffs, like I just gotta let luck take its place. It also depends on certain formats as well. I think that type of deal I would be more inclined to do in a shallower format, but in a deep format like that one was, where I'm starting a ton of players, and that one also has like IDP and stuff, and it's like, this random defensive lineman could just pop off and nullify 2 first round picks of value I just invested in one position for an upgrade. So
Yeah.
I do think there's a aspect of, in a shallower league, I'm more inclined to say, hey, yeah, screw my picks. Let me go get Christian McCaffrey this year, or Jonathan Taylor or someone like that.
Yeah.
But if I'm starting, like 11 or more players per week, I'm going to say, hey, I think this team from top to bottom is probably the reason I'm here. Not one player is going to fix this.
Yeah. I'm pulling up. This is I want to show this trade I made because it's going to look a little wonky. And this is actually one that I sent to you. And it's a little bit of my thought process on this had to do with where I think this team is at, where I'm 6-4 right now, but I feel pretty confident I'll be able to make the playoffs. But I think I'm not in a position where I would forego value or trade away first or anything to build a stronger quote unquote contending roster, if that makes sense. So it's pretty shallow, 12 by 9. And I had Josh Allen. Okay. And I know you don't see Josh Allen on the screen right now. And that is
Where'd
because
he go?
That is because I was sent an offer. Shout out to K Scott. I think this is a pretty fair trade, even though it would look weird at the beginning of the season. But I am getting Jayden Daniels, my first back, and Marcus Mariota, and trading away Josh Allen and a second. So kind of that first second swap to be able to lock in Josh Allen for the rest of the year. So this was the kind of team where with the Bucky Irving injury, and like I've got the Quinshon Judkins hit, the receiver room falling off a little bit after, like I've got Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, Debo, and then it's Judy, Evans on IR, not super deep in a 12 by 9. Oh, is it? I think it's a different one.
You forgot the big Deshaun Watson piece. That was the real kicker.
Yeah, that was I think I want to factor the positive juju that's gonna come to my team from finally getting Deshaun Watson off this roster. But it's a pretty shallow league. So I think when you look at this and it's like it's a 12-by-9, like the first second swap, how impactful is that for your roster? We were just talking about in the last deal that in some of these super shallow leagues, the hit of that first round pick, how much does it actually matter? But I actually think that starting just Baker, Daniel Jones, and then Marcus Mariota for the bye week for the Colts. And then Jayden Daniels, either if he plays for the rest of the season or I'm just mixing out on Josh Allen for the rest of the year. I think the first round pick is actually pretty important for this team where I think eating the value loss of the contending difference between Jayden Daniels and Josh Allen is going to help this team in the long run of being able to extend my contending window by using that first to add a receiver that can keep me contending for longer with this running back room. Like Bucky, Quinshawn, Breece, okay, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, whatever depth. But Justin Jefferson, Sutton, Debo, using that first to, taking Gadsden in a first. What receiver can I get with that? And then it's like I'm just starting, Njoku types because this is no tight end premium. Like those kind of moves. But
yeah, I mean, I think too, it's easy to sit here now and be like, this team looks great, right? And I think it does. But then you brought up the point of no 2026 first. How are you feeling about this team next year? Because they're not really adding any sort of new talent, new value to the actual lineup here. And all it takes is getting lucky on one of those first, which you have a decent hit rate on first round picks in general. And even if you don't hit, you can still always have some options with that piece. Even if it is the next year's Trayvon Henderson, people are still interested in that piece throughout the year, even if they're not producing. So it's something like being able to add something to this team. Because like next year, I don't know how I'm feeling about this wide receiver room. I don't know how Gadsden's usage will look like because we've seen him only have, he's strung together some good weeks, but we haven't seen him consistently do that for him a long time. I think he will be fine, but you just never know. And like players like Njoku, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, what's their future look like? So to me, it's like getting your own first back here, getting a shot at, hey, if I make the playoffs, awesome. If I make a run, cool. I'll live with it. And if I don't, sick. I stumble into Denzel Boston or KC Concepcion or whatever. All of a sudden, you're feeling better about having two kind of dynasty assets at the wide receiver room or whatever. It just gives you more options versus like, me holding on to Josh Allen doesn't increase my odds that much when you have Daniel Jones and Mayfield both popping off.
Yeah, and I mean that's not even factoring in. Last thing I'll say on this, and then we could stop talking about Will's own teams is what that first could do now for contending. Like I know it feels weird. You traded away Josh Allen, like you're making your contending team worse, obviously for the rest of the season with whatever Jayden Daniels going to look like if he even plays at the end of this year. But what if that first turns into, like I was talking about, Gadsden in a first? What receiver can that get me into? One of these running backs in a first. What can that get into that I feel better about my roster construction? Because I have Bucky, because I have Quinshawn, or because I have Bucky and Breece. So I think it was just one of those with the Bucky uncertainty, and pour one out, man. That's a bummer. Don't love the no IR, and we're coming up on pushing 5 weeks of no Buckster. So
pour one out for my Scott Fishbowl team. We had a run, but Scatterboo, Hampton, and Bucky are all out. So the dream is dead.
It's a bummer. I know. I remember those names, and I saw the Scott Fishbowl like top 10 update, and I still did the check to see if I could see Dynasty Danny on there. But I knew the injuries were killing you, and I don't know if we need to talk about the Panthers this week. Any thoughts, or should we talk about the Lions this week? We got to play the Commanders.
They are who we thought they were. Like they're bad.
What's the Bryce thing?
Win.
What's your Bryce take?
Win with one script. My Bryce take is the same it's always been. He's not the guy, but what else can we do?
Yeah, you're kind of they're kind of playing themselves out of that top end of the NFL drafts next year.
I'm okay with that. I don't want another quarterback.
Yeah,
like to me, I think you don't extend Bryce. You just literally give him like play out his contract year, and you build the rest of the team around him.
Yeah.
So then if we suck, we can take on a 27 quarterback, or we can just pick up some journeyman guy. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll go to another short quarterback in Kyler Murray. I don't know, but
Mac Jones.
Bryce is just not it. Bryce, like, when I watch and I know this is going to be hard for you as a Lions fan, but also just hard because I know the reality of the optics, because Caleb Williams has not been amazing.
Yeah.
But when I watch Caleb Williams, there will be moments where I'm just like, I don't think anyone else can do that. That was a phenomenal throw. Like I'm like, if he can figure out the rest of it,
when he does this thing,
the plays he can make are just sometimes amazing. Bryce Young has never ever done that. Every time Bryce makes a good play, it's like, thank God. Like, thank God.
Yeah.
Like, it's something happened. I'm like, you just made a throw. Like, I'm just so over it. I'm so over dealing with Bryce Young.
And and I don't know. This Canales is not the problem. I agree, and we don't need to turn this into Carolina Panthers
meow
fix my
shout
team.
outs.
But I feel like Bryce, I felt like last year was just hitting some of these downfield shots, and I feel like the offense is not what I would expect with how effective they've been running the ball. Where I feel like I need to see. I mean, the Lions did this last week, so it's on top of my mind. Like, way more play action, which is just like a cheat code. A lot more motion. We had the Dan Campbell calling plays. Shout out to DC holding the clipboard. But yeah, we don't need to pivot to.
Man,
to
I wish we had Dan Campbell, man.
Dude, I'm so grateful. I can't wait to.
He's like a top 3 coach.
Let's go. Gosh, man. I'm going to cry. All right, Burrito Master.
I don't think Canales is the problem, but I'm also not 100% in on Canales.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ready to sit here and say he's amazing.
I do think Bryce, in terms of like, we do some of these like QB coach stuff in terms of like, which piece is falling first in terms of what's the next step for the team. And I think we're at the point where it is Bryce is the first piece, and see if Canales can make it work with his choice of quarterback, whatever that ends up looking like. But it's going to be weird.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Next year for sure.
Fine giving him another year. I'm fine
Right.
give Canales another year. And if it's really bad next year, then we just clean the entire house. But ultimately, I'm fine giving Canales another 2 years.
Yeah. It's gonna be wonky. Like, if Andy Dalton was like, I mean, Mac Jones is like the everyone's go-to like backup quarterback. That's actually pretty good.
He has a 2-year contract though.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
not a free agent.
But I do think that there is. I mean, there's teams.
They may deal
teams like quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, I think they would be definitely. I don't think there's QB competition with Purdy. I think if anything, it's just a. Why would we force limited mobility Brock Purdy turf toe back when Mac Jones is playing fine? In other news, I asked for Kraft pivots last week, and here's what I did: moved Kraft for Henry and Goddard on a contender, pushed my chips in to make a run this season. That's an interesting one. I like the Goddard role in situation in terms of like contending expectations for the rest of the season based off of what his price usually is. But man,
Derrick Henry, that definitely helps.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking Hunter Henry.
two.
I was like, Jake, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the value's probably not there.
No, and that's what you have to do. Like, you have to suck up the dynasty value when your awesome player tears their ACL, or any major injury. That's a long
actually
IR
like
stint.
mid to late in the year.
Yeah,
because it's going to take a little bit for him to get back, and on top of it, like, he was just breaking out, but
yeah,
it's also that Packers offense which is like a it's like which puppy's getting fed today. There's like 8 different mouths to feed.
Yeah, you have to. I always do this in my negotiations. Somebody was trying to actually in the Charlie Daddy League was talking about potentially moving off of Kraft, and I referred to him as 25-year-old George Kittle that has a major injury, and I was like, man, I guess I'm just not going to trade him if like that's what I've labeled him as. Like, how do you move that, man? How do you move 25-year-old George Kittle that has an injury? That's tough. But I think this is a good trade.
I do like him, but I do think that's a good value as a contender. Like Derrick Henry, if there's anyone I'm not going to ever count out, is Derrick Henry. I'll have him when he's 40. Until he officially retires, he can always break away like an 80-yard touchdown run.
Yeah. So Victor, thanks guys. Did another trade earlier today, sending Darnold and JMO for a 26 first and a 27 first, rebuilding and feeling pretty good about the trade. Yeah, I mean Darnold's balling. Didn't have like an awesome fantasy production game this last one. Just wonky game. The a defensive player having 2 touchdowns. It was that kind of game for the Cardinals. But yeah, I think this is pretty. I think this is pretty fair. Darnold and JMO for 2 firsts, but especially if you're the kind of team that will take the first flexibility versus those 2 players, I like it. I do think Darnold has earned himself.
I definitely lean probably the first round pick side, just because I believe I like the flexibility, but you also got to kind of know your market. Where it's like some markets you go around and you're swinging around 2 first round picks and it can get you a lot, and other times it gets you players like this, and I don't think this is terrible value. I think it's one where it's like it's fair, but I also just I'm a junkie for flexibility. Like if I run into a situation where it's like, do I want a first or JMO? I'm like, can I get JMO-ish production without moving a first? Like, can I just get gross with it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to know all the context of the league.
Yeah, and the reason I brought up the Brugler stuff in terms of like NFL draft prospects assigning ranges to potential players that could be in the mix, and really just to put in perspective, like I feel like everyone hates the 2026 class. Like that is just, we talked about earlier, the comparison to 2027. But, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter. Class could be absolutely terrible come next season, rookie draft time, when you're on the clock with the 106, the 107, the 108, your DMs will be full of messages of people checking in to see what the price would be for them to move up from the mid-second for, insert Jameson Williams type player for a first there.
Oh yeah.
Apparently in Charlie, they don't want first or hurt players, so you can't go to the bottom teams with 3 firsts and get fab. I think I want to say agreed and give you a thumbs up, but I also feel like this is my first best ball Dynasty league, and I feel like maybe rightfully so, I have not been getting good responses when I'm trying to move my Jayden Reeds, my Brandon Aiyuks to the teams at the bottom, where it's like, dude, please bail me out, man. Like, give me somebody that's scoring points. And the points they want to give me, I'm like, oh, no, that guy sucks. So I think there's a little bit of, I have to learn to eat that loss, especially as somebody on the edge of missing the playoffs that doesn't have their first round pick next season. But maybe I'm just too stubborn. Not moving my craft.
Well, I got an
not moving my hunter.
If you're interested,
dude. Diaz, if you want Tucker Kraft or Travis Hunter, hit my line. Or if you know somebody that does, hit my line.
Changed. Trading away Travis Hunter.
I don't have my first, man. Yeah, that's pretty rough out there. I don't have my first, and I have Kyler Murray, and Bryce Young. So that's it's fine. That's a worst ball. I got a worst ball team.
You'll figure it out.
What's up, Jonah? Currently to rebuild, got offered Quinshawn and T for Trayvon and Olave. Thoughts? Ooh, I like Quinshawn and T, even though I am an Olave guy. I like Trayvon, and I think that he, especially with this last game, but I want to put it into perspective a tiny bit. That I think he will have these explosive plays, and I think the hope is that when Vrabel, Patriots offense, they all see this, that we will get more opportunities like this of him in space. Because I still think overall in terms of rushing success rate, was not a great game outside of some awesome huge plays, which are sweet, and I think that's what you hope is a bigger role. But I think I probably would just take T. Higgins, just got the contract extension. I like the situation, and Quinshawn, who I know is going to be a 20 to 23 touch running back for his entire career with the Browns.
Yeah, and I definitely am in a similar boat. I'm not the biggest fan of these types of deals because ultimately it's just which wide receiver do you like more? Which running back do you like more?
2-player bets.
But I do think the biggest kicker for me here is that T has some sort of dynasty value upside that Olave probably just doesn't. given that T contract extension tied to one of the best offenses. Whether we like it with Joe Burrow or Joe Flacco, he's going to get opportunities. Where Olave has the injury concerns and is in one of the worst offensive situations in the league. So it's kind of like,
Hey, Shuck was balling, man.
I probably, well, yeah, I mean, anyone can ball against the Panthers. But yeah, I mean, I think if I look at that, I would lean the Judkins side, but I would also be like, can we get a plus? Can we get something that's not, so it's not just literally a player swap?
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you are the rebuilder, like trying to get pieces that make more sense for whoever you're trading with to get and more sense for you to move off of to shed points versus the 2-for-2 players. We're going to hit a couple of these, and then we have 2 live stream asks that I'm ready, prepared. I was prepping beforehand.
Do we hit the club ones? I know I missed the intro, but I know
no, so those are the
well.
two. Those are the 2 that I've got ready. So Jimmy G and Paul C, Wisconsin Badgers logo. We got you next. All right, Shane here. I'm one of 3 contenders this year. I have Bijan and Genty and a long-term contending window. Am I crazy to try and move Genty for JT to go for it this year? And I think this is actually, we're going to answer these hand in hand. This might be Jimmy G's Louise, because this one was a solid 2 to 3 window.
A similar question.
Should I trade Genty straight up for JT to help me win now? Which I think is a great question, because I do think Genty looks good, but when you just talk about offensive situation, offensive line, best case scenario, like they could move off of Geno next year, but what does that actually look like? Is it just another like veteran retread bring in thing? I don't think it's crazy. I would try to find a different way to do it.
I think you just do it.
I do think you just do it, but I think you might find a way to feel, I think you might find a way to feel better about it by like doing this and then adding a second onto the Genty side to get like another feel good contending piece. Like if somebody's moving off of JT for Genty, like they are accepting
maybe they have like
the rest of the season.
Aaron Jones, or they have like a gross player.
Yeah, you find a way to get Kittle, like something like that, off of a roster that you feel like is kind of sucking up the contending loss for the rest of the season.
If you just look at the actual production, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
literally every week is like 28 points. So I mean,
Jonathan Taylor has more touchdowns than a lot of NFL teams.
And he's also only 26. Now, I know he's not this young dynasty value elite thing, but I think when you look in the ranges of what fantasy football is, Jonathan Taylor next year certainly has a great outlook, assuming he stays healthy. I don't think him turning 27 or 28 is a concern. So for me, I'm just going with Jonathan Taylor.
And he's,
I'm trying to win, and GT's not putting up points anywhere near what Jonathan Taylor is going to be putting up.
And it's not just the touchdowns too. Like I think that was a big thing with JT's RB1 season a few years ago, where it was like, oh, okay, the touchdown numbers were crazy. Like he is involved in the passing game, which is like a nice floor on top of just a monster, a usage monster, one of the best.
Yeah, I mean,
in the NFL right now.
He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm with it. And these are the moves that you plug in to keep trade cut, or people checking out the rosters. It feels a lot better to see Genty and keep trade cut value that he holds. But it feels great to see Jonathan Taylor 3 touchdowns in your lineup every week.
Well, I will say on keep trade cut, Jonathan Taylor is RB3 and GT's RB4. So,
oh, did that just happen? I could have seen that happen 2 weeks ago. I haven't been following it too closely. Let's go. Yeah, do it. Do people agree? All right. Yo, what's up, Eric? Maybe I missed the answer. So this is a 12 team, start 10, 8-2, want to ship 26 picks for a receiver, starting Amon-Ra, Judy, Jacoby, and Keon. This is a 12 by 10. If you were trying to upgrade and you're willing to move a 26 first for receiver and a 12 by 10 half PPR, Where do you think you could realistically go? And I'll pull up.
Just shoot 26 first. They're contending, I assume, right? Like it's not like
This is 8-2.
an
Yep.
early pick. Yeah, so you're probably
Half
looking...
PPR is the one call out. I think Lad. Would you...
I feel like you have to add something to Lad. Though.
Yeah, I think so too. Would you go after... What about like I guess straight up
like
the Pickens,
would you do like
T Waddle,
Devonta Adams, QJ?
I would probably like the thing with moving 26 picks.
AJ Brown.
I do think. Oh, I've got this random thing up here. I do think that I'd be a little bit more inclined versus like the first that we're talking about, like first plus for Lad. Like if that's not realistic, like doing the second plus for Devonta, especially in a half PPR, where a lot of his projection in like expected fantasy point stuff is tied to just how used he is on an awesome offense in the red zone. But yeah, I'd probably rather do that than trading a first straight up for like... I do like Zay Flowers, but I think finding like a cheaper way to go after like Devonta Adams types with like a second plus or something.
I mean, I just don't know. I feel like if you have Devonta Adams now, you're probably enjoying it, you know? Like I don't know how many bad teams have him.
I don't know, Jeremy. There's not everyone tunes into Dynasty -Daddy live streams every Tuesday night and is checking the rosters every single week.
Wait, really?
They should be. Shout out to
you're telling me the
viewer.
The 18 concurrent viewers are not the entire Dynasty community?
Tell your league mates. Posting the at all in the chat.
I'm looking at some of these trades. There's a second and a third. A second. I mean, I see first. Devonta. I do think a second, like 2 seconds, a second plus something for like Adams would probably be the big move I look to make.
Yeah. The one thing, like, I do understand trying to improve the starting lineup, but I think the one thing that's nice is like you are 8-2. Like it's 12 by 10. You say you have a strong quarterback room, strong running backs. Like, yes, I know you look at your wide receivers and, you know, it feels gross that you have to plug in Jacoby and Keon occasionally and, you know, see tough projections there. But, you know, Jacoby, no Travis Hunter for the rest of the season. I'd probably be more inclined to do the second round pick for Devonta. All right, we do have, we'll go lightning mode here, and then I'll pull up the other live stream ask here. Thank you, Eric.
Famous last words. Let's go lightning mode.
I can see it. I can see it all on my screen. The famous last words is usually when I'm scrolling up to do the lightning mode for things that we've missed. That's when it's GG. All right, 12 team Superflex.
I loved, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? I think we did lightning mode. I think question 2. It was like
right out of the bag. Mode. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're already behind the 8 ball here.
No, we I should save those. 12 team Superflex PPR best ball just traded a late first, a third, and Scatterboo for Saquon and Dowdle, currently in second place, good value or half season rentals. I mean, those are the moves you have to do in best ball, man, to get the points on your roster. And if you're contending, I think that's fine. I don't think those are necessarily rest of the year rentals. Like, how realistic is it that Saquon is not going to be in the same role he is next season, you know, and potentially for the next couple seasons? Right.
Yeah.
So like in terms of like moving your first,
you feel good about Saquon.
And do you even feel great about Scat at the start of next season? You know, like
not in best ball.
Yeah. These are 2 running backs that I think realistically are, I would say, potentially like important parts of your lineup this season and next season, like pretty confidently. And for that, I'm willing to move a first and a Scatterboo type for.
Yeah, and I mean, just to the Dowdle point as well, the Panthers have 5 wins and 4 of them are literally just because Rico Dowdle touched the ball like 20 times.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have a new job at Carolina next year, he has a job somewhere else. he certainly earned it.
Yeah.
So I think for best ball purposes, both of these guys are guys you want. And even from like a perspective of rest of season, you want like I don't like to have a lot of running backs in best ball. I like to have a few that just have a great workload.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I know what my running back spots are, so then I can take more shots on tight ends. I can take more shots on wide receivers, so those guys can break into my flexes and my different lineups. But I want to keep my running backs as slim as I can.
Yeah.
With some reasonable flexibility. But both Barkley and Dowdle are guys that I feel great for the rest of the season. I mean, they have both been crushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Barkley not as much, which is crazy to say, but he's someone that 2 weeks from now he might just turn the engines on and it's like okay, like he's scoring 25 points a game.
I just traded a first and a third and Trey Tucker and Xavier Hutchinson, I think, for Rico Dowdle and Kenneth Walker in a league that has a small point per carry and is also a median league, and I'm pretty close to securing the bye. So that was one where I was like, you know what? I'll move the first. I'll get the good running back production and a small PPC for sure the rest of the season. And it felt like the last piece of the puzzle for somebody that's been starting a lot of Tony Pollard this season. Felt like a good last piece of the puzzle to swap that out for a different running back.
Our off-season crusties, we need to do a little bit more work.
Okay,
on
I
this.
think James
I feel like a lot
Conner.
of them have,
Benson was involved.
James Conner counted.
James Conner was a tough one to lose. Aaron Jones might actually end up being okay if this usage from this last week keeps up. Started the season.
2 weeks have been good.
Yeah, started the season was sketchy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looked like, wow, this is Mason's backfield, and we've got hopefully a passing down roll for Aaron Jones. But this last week was really good usage. Good to see. Who were the other crusties? Kamara's been tough. Obviously, just had a great game.
Kamara's been tough,
but I think that one was kind of.
Kamara's been weird because it's just like some games he'll get like 7 touches. And I'm like,
yeah,
who else are you giving the ball to? I mean, like
decent amount of Devin Neal. They got Taysom Hill back. They like those Taysom Hill packages. He was the leading rusher just 2 weeks ago, and then Kamara has this game. What are the other crusties? I'm not gonna count Derrick Henry.
Pollard was a legend. It's
a big Pollard guy.
8-point merchant right there. It's just hard. Like in those ranges, you want to gather a bunch of depth, but you don't want to overpay for it.
Right, and that's the kind of the bet too. And I think what's nice about that part of it is like even though we were wrong, like Pollard having Pollard, we were right. Pollard had an awesome role, but it was for the Titans who were terrible. So that awesome role did not end up mattering that much when it's 18 touches for 47 yards. But that's the one nice thing is like even when we're wrong about that kind of thing, like it was at most a second round pick that was moved for that. So like that miss doesn't hurt as much for your roster. It just was the way you were going to fill out the running back room. And just like, I did in this one. Hey, my, cheap trade or second round pick that I moved for Pollard, maybe it was last season or 2 seasons ago and I was banking on him. I'll move the first for Rico and Kenneth Walker. Because I didn't pay too much for the running back. Bucks couldn't ball against the Panthers. Who the Panthers have is this the Falcons game? Who do the Panthers play?
Next week?
I got you. Panthers NFL. Yeah, Falcons.
Let's see.
Sunday 1 p.m.
Falcons, okay. 30-0.
30-0.
Back.
Yeah. I could.
Now, I will say Panthers in Atlanta, I always, no matter the year, it's an L. I just do not trust Carolina down there.
Come on, Jake's in the chat. Went to the Panthers game last Sunday, made me want to buy Kamara. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, dude, what do you, if you have Kamara on a team, like what are you willing? Are you taking? If you don't need Kamara, what is the lowest you would take for him? After this last week, because this is probably the last week you could get something for him.
I mean, I sent him out for like thirds in some leagues, and I haven't gotten offers. And I'm like, come on, man, like a third, like
I'd buy
someone like
you have him on the Alpha Daddy, don't you?
2/3 is about fair. I think so, yeah.
I would.
I've been trying to get rid of them in there.
I'll do it cheap. I think my running backs are pretty bad in that league. I can pull up and check real quick.
I may have sold them in one league. I sold somebody.
I know you sold Jacobs.
I sold one
That's
of my
that's
crusties.
that's what I really wanted. Oh, you did sell him. Dang it.
Yeah, a third and a fourth, I think. But that was
Yeah.
before this week. But I
They
was
do have
just
the
like,
bye week this week.
I was just like, I need to get off this dude. Because I had a lot of Kamara burning a hole in my pocket for
Burning a
a
hole in
bunch
your
of bad
lineup.
teams, and I'm like, okay, like I need to get off of that.
Yeah.
Before I regret it.
Dude, benching
But I mean,
Kamara
honestly,
feels wonky, but
it does.
it's
It
it's
feels
been
like
the right
it's like
move.
watching Shaq on the Celtics. It's like, oh man, like I remember the prime. Like I remember when Kamara was dropping 40 bombs in the playoffs, and
Mhm.
you're just like printing money, and that now all I gotta say is like it's a Kobe Bryant like thank you like retirement tour. Like you get a retirement tour on my 5-5 fantasy team, and I'll ship you off to a contender.
The okay, I do have the how much did you sell Jacobs for? This is 12 by 10, 0.75 tight end premium. You traded Daniel Jones and Josh Jacobs for Pacheco, a 26 first and a 27 first, which I think is pretty good. Pretty good return. And that was you had that kind of team. That was a couple weeks ago though. That was probably like 4 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was like trying to aggressively. I was like, let's see how the first couple weeks shape out, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't going well for me. And then I was like, I'm trying to sell. I was traveling, and I come back. I have like 4 offers for Jacobs.
Yeah, I
and
was
I'm
one
like,
of
okay,
them.
I'm shifting
I think
through
my
them
offer.
all.
I think my offer was bad though. So
And there was a few, and I was like, okay, like y'all, I need someone to up it. But I was like 2 first-round picks for Daniel Jones off 5 good weeks and Jacobs, and that first round pick isn't guaranteed. Like it wasn't like a a bye week team. It was like
yeah,
a team like on the fringe. I felt confident saying, this is probably what I need to take. Like even if I could technically squeeze a little bit more or play the waiting game, I just need to take the value because there's only so many teams that are willing to move first round picks for running backs. That's just how it is.
yeah. What's up, Becca? Hello, hello. Oh man.
Yes.
Oh wait.
There we go.
Can we get
3
the
and
update?
0.
Oh, let's go. Mark
3 and
safe
0.
this week. So where we at placement wise? Are we on the edge of the playoffs now?
It's been rough. But we have a 15% chance to make the playoffs.
Okay. All right.
There's a chance.
And I mean, we're going straight up, right? 3-0 last 3 weeks. It's a sign of things to come. Come on.
It is. It is.
Oh.
Some people count me out, but I'm coming around.
All right, P. Travis Hunter. Yeah, it's tough. Dude, how sad is it too that I'm not going to fully victory lap like the expectations were going to happen for the rest of the season, but like the state, why did it have to be that week? Like right after awesome week.
Yeah, one good week.
We get the bye week. Okay, coming out of the bye, he's going to be an important part of the offense. There was, coach speak, Liam Cohen. And then we just get a non-contact practice injuries after the season. Oh, brutal. That's how it goes, man. Panther staff is.
You know who's been breaking my heart?
Oof.
Is that JCM, man?
Bill, man.
That's been ripping me apart.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way I see it is kind of like if Brian Robinson was on this team and in that role, but also the Commanders' offense was terrible, and like how well would he be performing in that role? And I think that's kind of unfortunately where Bill's at. So I'd be I mean, I'm not trying to buy Bill, and I feel like a lot of Bill managers kind of understand that situation and are just kind of chalking up this year to being a lost year for Washington and hoping that we can retry the bet next year. I do have the live stream ask question. I don't want to make you too sad about your Bill, and this is a sad one, man. This is an overall rank 1, starter rank 3, 3-7. Offense is bad. I still got faith. Brandon, I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of with you. The true Bill believer. The Bill bro.
I think I'm out, man. I think I'm out on Bill.
I kind of get it. I think from the standpoint of the like receiving work stuff, like not seeing that really be fruitful. And what would this backfield look like if Austin Eckler was healthy, right? And how hard is it for a team to bring in an Austin Eckler type? I mean, Jeremy McNichols has been that, and he hasn't taken too much of that pie.
I mean, I think the issue is like if JCM can't win this backfield, then like he's not going to win when they have better talent than I think an undrafted rookie in Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols, who's like, like a 7-year vet that has always been kind of just a Amir Abdullah type bounce around guy.
Yeah. He's made some plays, but
it's like, come on, you need to be actually dominating here for me to feel good, because they're going to go into the draft and just pick another 4th or 5th round running back, and then that guy's going to have better pedigree than the guy that had all the runway this year and did nothing with it.
Yeah. I'm holding out faith. I'm with you, Brandon, but
I'm getting back. I'm not holding out any faith. I'm selling any share I got.
I'm probably not buying. So I assume you're selling for any second. Somebody knocks on your door.
Oh yeah, easy.
All right, third.
2/3. Yeah.
2/3.
2/3, a third probably.
Oh, I'd buy some Bill for 2/3. You got any Bill?
I'm selling for 2/3. I don't know if I do though. Send me a trade because he's gone.
All right. I don't think we'll have that. If that's your sell Bill price, then you probably don't have a lot of Bill at this point.
No, I don't. I have him in a free Dynasty league. That's the only share I have.
And then I'm not usually looking to be making trades in those leagues.
It's my one flea flickered league.
I will say the one free league I'm in, shout out to Ethan in the free league bros. I have a Josh Allen Lamar QB room. My team is nasty.
Dude, that's the thing that I hate the most.
I know.
Is this free league I was inactive in. And not to do a victory lap on a free league, but I mean this league.
I'm down.
My team is literally like the best team I've ever heard. It's like Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Nico, Ladd, Chris McCaffrey, Barkley, Rico Dowdle, JCM, Woody Marks, Jayden Daniels, Purdy. Like it's like, how did that become so good? Like how am I hitting on all my draft picks in that league?
All right, it's game time. I got the live stream. Ask.
Stay focused. Okay.
Lightning mode. All right. This I got to read this full form for you before we even talk about this team. I did the unthinkable. Okay. I lost the gimme week when I was projected to win by 35. Now I'm sitting at 3-7 and firmly out of playoff contention, even though your playoff calculator still says I have 9%. What are some moves I can do to de-risk myself for next year? Obviously, I'd want to get off of old players like Kelce or Tyreek for anything if possible. 12/9 Superflex PPR 0.510 premium, especially when you have Jake Ferguson too. Like, I'm totally fine rolling with Jake Ferguson for the rest of the year. And then, whatever. The bye weeks, the one-off weeks, fine. I'll play Tyler Higbee, Cole Kmet. I don't need to have that backup side time. But having your own first is nice too. I will say with this league, I'm not trying to push in pieces. Like, I would probably just be fine rolling with, I mean, I know you don't have Bucky or Scat, but your wide receiver room's nasty. Puka, JSN, Rome, T. Higgins. You have Lamar back. Lost Jayden Daniels, but you still have Baker Mayfield. You can now be starting Woody Marks, Aaron Jones, and Alvin Kamara and feel okay about it. I probably am just rolling for the rest of the year. And if I can move off of Kelce for some value, but I don't feel the need to do that with too much on this team. Like, would you be doing everything you can to get like picks for Kamara and Kelce? The tough thing about that is how worse are you going to be able to make your pick with a team this good? Like, it's not like you're going to be pushing 1 or 2 if you miss the playoffs.
The angle I would have is saying, can I move Kelce, Kamara, Aaron Jones, maybe Cortland Sutton, and Tyreek, and just pick up any like third, seconds in the future, so then I have the flexibility next year to actually buy the equivalent back when I'm making a push. Ultimately, the bones of this roster are fine. Like, it's just, hey, I got unlucky with injuries and stuff. But I mean, if I'm rolling into the offseason with Lamar, Jayden Daniels, Baker, Gene T, Irving, Scattaboo, Puka, JSN, Rome, Garrett Wilson, T. I feel good. I feel amazing about that. And
Yeah.
then add to that you get your own pick, which is probably going to be like a mid first round pick, given that
Mhm.
your team is good and there's a lot of 3 and
3
7
and
teams.
7. You
But
have this pick.
let's not let's not overlook the fact that you have the least valuable team's first round pick, the 9th overall in the league according to starter ranks, first round pick that's 3 and 7. This pick could be a Jeremiah Love, it could be a Jordan Tyson. So to me, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like I could have the flexibility to move some of these things, and honestly, I could potentially say, do I move one of my high end players, knowing that I'm going to probably have 1 or 2 elite shots in 2026, right? Like the
Yeah.
amount of wide receivers you have that right now, currently, that you aren't even starting is kind of crazy, right? Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton. Like you have so many high caliber players that if one of these contenders loses like a player in the next couple weeks and is looking to kind of overpay
Yeah.
to address an elite guy with another elite guy, that's like if like an Amon-Ra or someone like that goes
Mhm.
down, going in and being like, here's JSN, can I get Amon-Ra in the first or whatever?
Yeah.
That's the kind of angle I would be going for. Like realistically, I'm probably not making the playoffs, but can I get elite value and basically just have the exact same team going into next year of elite wide receivers, elite shots on 2026 picks, and then kind of keep rolling. And even if you're like, hey, I don't really need another wide receiver like Jordan Tyson, you could trade that pick for whatever you need, and that's going to get you crazy value, especially if you're moving like the 102, the 103, something like that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And you can kind of treat like similar to what I did in the league that I showed earlier, where I did the Jayden Daniels Josh Allen swap. Like I have Bucky Irving on the roster, and I'm just trying to kind of treating it like this is my like it's basically a first and a half, 2 firsts that I have in value that's just sitting in Bucky Irving that I'm not able to use contending for this season, but I'll just hold on to the flexibility versus pushing in on top of that. Because this team would not surprise me at all if that 9% is actually turns into you making the playoffs. Just with how good this team is. Like this team is very good as well. But Lamar, Baker, Genty, it's really that wide receiver room. I mean, the weekly projection of Puka and JSN can absolutely smash. Track of how many times I say lightning mode. We need a lightning mode sounder first, and then I'll
like
get
the
on
saber metrics, all the
elaborate.
analysis.
Oh yeah,
The saber metrics, like be like, oh, Will said lightning mode 4 times this stream.
I am a I don't know if I'm street or book smart. I am one of the smarts. I couldn't tell you which one.
You'll figure it out.
Whichever one wouldn't be able to like fully grasp that reference on stream immediately. What's up, Birds Builds? Please send me a trade offer for Kraft or Travis Hunter in the Charlie Daddy League. Daddy needs points. Daddy needs points.
Welcome to the stream where Will begs for trade offers.
Welcome to the stream where Daddy needs points.
Did you hit the Discord question from Big Diaz?
Wait, where'd it go? Oh, this was an earlier one, right? This was the
no, it's in the Discord, right?
Wait.
Once you decide to rip off the Band-Aid and get your first back. Did I miss that? With
No.
The camera.
No, you're perfect.
Okay.
Big Diaz.
Peace out, Jake. Thanks for stopping by.
This is a good question, especially at this point in the season. So I'm pulling it up here right now. Shout out to Big Diaz. Peace out, Jake.
Read it. Once you decide to rip off the Band-Aid and get your own first back, what is realistic to pay? Yeah. I'm told I have to pay a tax. Can you guys talk about this?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a secret when someone's trying to get their first round pick back And I feel like the best that you can typically offer in those kind of situations is a team that is willing to move a first for like production and needs that versus holding on to that great pick. So I feel like the taxes usually ends up being, and it kind of does line up decently well in a lot of cases where you moved your first for production. Injuries around that production and rosters hurt you, so it's looking like it's going to be an earlier pick. Like you potentially might not be making the playoffs. You're doing everything you can to get the pick back. That usually means you do have some contending pieces, right? You have a Devonta Adams, or you moved a first to get, Mike Evans plus other Bucky Irving or something in this big pick, and you haven't had any Bucky points for the past 5 weeks, and maybe not for the rest of the season. I think the tax ideally is contending pieces. Like it's Devonta Adams plus Javonte Williams.
I mean, I
like
think it's,
like that plus something else,
I think it really is like your strongest offer. Like that's kind of what, like, how much would you be willing to give up? And like if it is like, hey, the run for my championship ends, I don't need these contending pieces. Okay, cool. Like they might not care about that. Like if they're rebuilding or they're a middling team, they're
Right.
just going to hold on to that like for dear life. So you're going to have to really just be like I see Birds Bills mentions I made someone pay Tet plus Kraft for their 1-on-1 back, plus some other pieces. Like I think that's kind of what you have to look at of you're going to probably have to pay like 2 top 30 dynasty players to kind of get that pick back. Because in a way, it's kind of like golden handcuffs or not even golden handcuffs. It's just handcuffs of like, I have to contend. And if I can't contend for some reason, or if I'm like, if it's not looking good, I can't really do a rebuild. Like the second I do a rebuild without getting my first back, that pick goes up in value. That person knows you're screwed, right? And then you probably don't have any interesting players to actually get that pick back. And then two, it's like if you go to them and ask for that pick and they're like, I know you're about to rebuild and that's why you want this pick. They're going to be like, give me all the stuff that, like, give me everything. Like, give me everything that doesn't fit your rebuild to get your pick back. Because otherwise, I'm just going to bet that you're floundering already. Like, why would I give you your pick back? So you really do have to do like kind of like an early first type pick plus something that like a Tet plus Kraft. Realistically, I think the only way it really makes sense is if people have like weird player takes on the draft, like if you have like early 2026 and they're like, okay, I don't really care, or if it's a situation where like elite team that was contending lost Jayden Daniels and that early pick could get them a Bo Nix or something, and they're like, okay, that fits both of our needs.
Yeah,
but it's something where like I look at some of my teams that are middling teams or even contending teams, and I have someone's future pick, and they're not even the worst team, but they're like a bottom 5 team, and I'm like, I'm not going to move that pick. Like that's my get out of jail free card of, can I get an elite shot on goal and a dynasty centerpiece without having to sacrifice an entire season of mine?
Yeah,
because sure, it sucks. It sucks when you're bad and you have your own pick, and then you can get a good shot at getting a guy. But it's an amazing when you're a good team and you have someone else's pick, and that can be that shot to carry you into the next 3 years of success.
Yeah,
and you don't actually have to reach
it's
down into the draft with your own pick. Yeah, like that's how you build those long-lasting teams that live forever. So I think in a way they're kind of more valuable once you kind of know they aren't guaranteed that kind of mid, like the 108 type picks. And once they start sneaking into the 104s, it's like it's almost untradeable to me, unless if I'm getting like a Tet plus Kraft deal.
Yeah,
it's really like if you come to me, I already kind of know you're floundering. If that's what you initially want is your first back.
And I do think the other side of it is there are certain situations where the tax that's being requested of me, it's just like, fine, what you're asking for in terms of price, I'm going to treat that like it's what I'm trading my first next year for. So this example right here, Tet and Kraft for this 101. I see a few other assets too. I mean, I think that would probably make, we got the full trade here. 1 QB, 12 team, 0.5 PPR with no tight end premium, Tet, Kraft, and Woody Marks for Swift, Troy Franklin, Kyle Pitts, Penix, the 101, and the 301. Okay. So I kind of get this. But what I was speaking to is, like, if someone's asking for, I come to them, hey, I need to get my 101 back. I know you're going to want a dynasty value piece asset. What's the trade? And they say, all right, give me Tat, give me Kraft, give me Devonta, and I'll kick you back a second or something. I would just say, like, you know what? I am just going to eat it. And that's what I'm trading my first for next season is Tedero McMillan, Tucker Kraft coming off the injury, and Javonte Williams. So I can't get my first back, and that sucks. But I'm not going to do a trade that would just feel worse doing straight up next year just to have my own first round pick back, if that makes sense. Like, I will just treat that like it's my first round pick. The next day, grab Torres ACL.
I think too. I think that stinks, birds. I do think too. It also just really depends on the sentiment around the draft class. Like, I think next year with 27 picks, it's going to be a different level. We're going to see insane trades because the 27 early first are already way more valuable than 26 early first. And that is just going to keep getting steamed up as a lot of these quarterbacks that we thought were declaring this year decide not to and declare next year. Like, those early picks are just going to become so valuable that I do think 27, we might just see insane offers for 27 first back, like Justin Hurts plus something, like just stuff that makes no sense to some extent. But I do think that's a good way of looking at it, especially when you have an injured player. Be like, oh, Malik Neighbors coming back is my first round pick.
Mm-hmm. I think startups are going to be fascinating too, and even in just normal leagues where we talk about it, where the first couple weeks of the season, like, I like contending every single year. Like, I like doing what I can to be trying to make the playoffs in every single league. But there are some leagues and situations, and specifically in startups, where I will go in with the mindset of I'm down to trade back and to acquire picks. So, like, I'm moving out of the 4th round completely all the way back to the 9th or the 10th or whatever. I'm getting a first round pick added on top of that. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of teams trying to construct in a way that gives them more shots in 27, as well as locking themselves into, I'm getting, 23-year-old Justin Jefferson, like, with this 101. Like, I'm clocking that in with the way I'm building my team and holding my own first. I think the 1 year punt startups are going to be really interesting, because if there's multiple teams doing that right out of the startup, it's going to be pretty interesting, especially with how the other teams build. Like, can you take advantage of that?
I will say my home league, things are looking bleak this year, but I do have 3 2027 first round picks. So
let's go.
I'm excited for that.
Let's go. Just found an old rejected trade where I would have got JT for a first value. Depressing. Man, on the other side, I'm remembering in a league where, and I like building through the receivers, and I think it's hurt me in some leagues this year, where the Tony Pollard running back rooms, the Alvin Kamara running back rooms, the James Conner running back rooms have been hurting a little bit with these sick receiver rooms. But I was trying to trade JT plus for Lad in a league last year. I remember, like, kept going to the guy, and Lad was just like smashing, and he was like, nah, dude, like, I'm built through receiver, and I still got JT on that team. Smashing. Let's go.
Yeah. Now you're like sick. I think that's something that is shifting in, like, the dynasty and fantasy community in general. But like, when you have one of those running backs, like, it's awesome to have a wide receiver that's awesome, right? Like, it's awesome to have a CeeDee Lamb, but when you
targets
have, like,
are earned,
a Jonathan Taylor or a CMC, like, when you hit on the true RB1 of the class, like, it's over. It's so much easier to fill out the rest of your lineup when you have a Jonathan Taylor going through for 3 touchdowns. Like, the only wide receiver that can really touch that level of production is Jamar Chase when he's, like, in his bag.
And I think about the price difference.
Everyone else is like 20 points. Yeah.
Price difference now, and the price difference even heading into the season, man. Like, where was JT going in the startups? What could you could trade probably a first and interesting player pretty easily for JT in most leagues last year, like we were just talking about with Adam's message. Burrito Master here. I think you missed my question earlier. I'd like to apologize on behalf of the Dynasty Daddy brand for missing the question with some lovely anecdotes. Dang. What do you do in RB Crazy League? Seems great, but Kenneth Walker and Tyler Allgeier, my RBs, and owners want crazy value for RBs. Help me feed my family. Hey, not a bad week to start Tyler Allgeier. I think he had 2 touchdowns this last game.
Yeah, he did.
But wait, I wanted to see
He's
if
not
I
a bad
could.
handcuff.
Here we go. Best tips and trips for the old home league where everyone overvalues running backs. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I mean, going into the season and right now I want to say, well, you pivot and you build through receiver, and maybe that's the league where you do go elite at the other positions and you're using the value you've accumulated to have the Kenneth Walker, Allgeier running back room, but you're building out the rest of your room with sick tight ends, sick receivers, sick quarterbacks. But would you? I think my actual piece of actionable advice would be you just have to find the one manager that would make sense for them to move off of running backs, right? Like there is probably a team that every week is benching a Jaylen Warren type with how overvalued running backs can be in some leagues. And where are they hurting? You know, do they have a Garrett Wilson that went down that they were counting on for the season that you can kind of do a cross positional trade?
Yeah, I mean, I think unfortunately there's not going to be like a magic key that just unlocks James Conner on your or not James Conner, James Cook on your roster.
Mm,
But I do think, like you said, you got to plug your league into the Dynasty Daddy site and find teams that do have extra depth at running back and see what their needs are. And then can you find a way to fit your needs? Yeah, like can you help them out where they're weak and pick up, a Jaylen Warren type? Those players are certainly available.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
I
I
know
think
you
the other
do
two
this.
options,
I was just gonna say, I know you do this.
yeah,
I do it. This is like Will's everyday Dynasty Daddy use, where I am putting myself in the other manager's position in that power rankings tab and going through their roster, like getting the full picture. And I love using this site because it's the easiest way for me to do it for all leagues or all teams across all my leagues. Like I don't have to click into each individual team and look at who they're starting, who's on the bench. Like I can see it really easily. But you just put yourself in their shoes, man. You say, this guy probably feels icky about having to start Trey Tucker every week. And they've got Jaylen Warren on the bench. So yeah, I definitely do that for all my leagues to try to find that breakdown.
yeah. I mean, I think the other two options is if running back is more valuable in your league. The other ways to get those players are through the draft. Is like maybe you do take those running backs a little bit higher than consensus
Yeah.
in certain ranges of like, do I take the second round wide receiver? Do I take the Jayden Higgins or do I take the Scatterbill or the Tootin or whatever? Just because I know if one of these guys can hit, they can make a difference on my lineup, and it's hard to buy. And then additionally, you need to just be rostering any running back that could hit, like the Tyler Algiers, right?
Yeah.
He's been getting good work. You need to just be, Sean Tucker, the Blake Corums, like you just roster all those guys because you
Emmanuel
never
Wilson,
know
all
when
the
they become, yeah. Like you're gonna have to find ways to get cheap production until you can start building out that kind of centerpiece running back room that you need.
What's up, Condranos? Joining you late today. No worries. In my super shallow start 12 team super flex league, would you move Rice for Marvin, Harrison Jr., and Garrett Wilson? Am contending this year. It was a 12x9. Always nervous down tiering in shallow start leagues. I mean, this is the kind of down tier that like is a reasonable down tier. Like 2 are going to hold their value wide receivers. But I also think, especially with Garrett Wilson being hurt, makes this a little bit more palpable from a dynasty value aspect. Are you taking the Marv and Garrett Wilson side? Those are like, I feel like those are Jeremy's least 2 favorite dynasty wide receivers in a pretty fair trade package for Rice in a 12x9.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fair one. It's hard though.
Yeah.
I think like if I'm doing pure value, yes. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I want to have to pick between Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. each week, or just be like, well, I have probably a top 8 wide receiver
Yeah.
in fantasy football this year, and I have probably a top 8 dynasty wide receiver long term in Rashee Rice. And I just don't know. Like, I mean, I think the value is good to take the 2 split,
if you
but
don't
it's hard
need
to really.
like
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if Garrett Wilson's on your bench, then what's the deal?
right, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you cannot use picks for these kind of moves in these shallow leagues where it's like, I'm not trading 2 firsts on top of Marv for Rice, like it's Marv and Garrett Wilson, where it's like, yeah, I could turn Garrett Wilson into picks, or I could hold my picks. Like, my team is strong enough. I built up the war chest a little bit in the super shallow league where I can afford to do one of these, 2 solid dynasty asset wide receivers for one that I project to score and smash the rest of the season. I don't mind doing those. The only thing is, I will say, you don't want to do too many of these. So like, yes, you always want to be tiering up, and if you feel confident you can tier down off of these, like, then for sure do what you got to do. But I think you can lose a lot of flexibility when you're using firsts and you're doing these combo packages where it's like, okay, awesome, my team is sick, but I have no firsts, no seconds, and my Rice just tore his labrum and is out for the rest of the season, and like, now I don't have any flexibility because nobody's going to buy him for contending pieces.
Or who knows? The amount of Malik Neighbors trades I send, the Amon-Ra for Malik Neighbors or whatever, and no response. I'm like, okay.
I did see a receiver going to the Giants. I think was that in the NFL Stock Exchange? Do you remember? Did they get receiver? I might be thinking of a different draft.
They did, but
I might have been
I'm
safety.
definitely starting to dabble in the mock draft content sphere.
It's time. Sell Nico for Jacobs in Dynasty if I'm in need of a running back. Ooh. After this week, man, the Davis Mills experience. I will say, honestly, I loved
Davis Mills.
Dude, Nico smashed, but I don't know if anybody, as a big Nico guy, I have a ton of Nico. It felt so amazing at the end of the second quarter before halftime, where he just caught the most meaningless short Hail Mary from Mills, like a 40-yard reception. I just wanted to put you guys into my headspace. The
garbage time ones.
Those are the funniest.
Win a matchup.
Like the
win a matchup from a freaking lateral play.
Man, I really can't get a little plus on top of Jacobs if I'm moving Nico. People hate Nico.
I think so, man. I think realistically, dynasty value needs to adjust a little bit with
especially week
true
10.
bell cow running backs like a Jacobs.
Yeah, especially when you can lock it in for multiple years.
Yeah, like is Josh Jacobs next year going to be dust? Probably not. Like I just don't see Jacobs really slowing down.
Yeah,
I know he has a lot of miles. I know you can say that about it, everything, but to me, I just feel like Nico production, which is crazy to say, is easier to replace just because there's like 30 decent wide receivers that you can probably go out and buy. You can go out and buy a Parker Washington who might score similarly this week. You're not going to be able to buy a cheap running back that's going to score Josh Jacobs' numbers. So if you're trying to win, I don't think Jacobs is dust next year, and you're going to get a guy that's probably going to be more impactful on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
I do agree. The plus would be nice, but the Nico stonks are a little bit down.
Yeah. And I don't think this is a terrible move. This is just more of I think Nico just like has that Drake London upside that I don't feel like he carries in the streets right now. But I don't think this is terrible because I do like Jacobs. I know we didn't talk much about Trayvon Henderson. I know we're at the end of the chat questions. If anybody has any other trades before P time, let us know. But we've got him on the thumbnail. Oh, interrupted by how do we feel about Rachaad White? The one not
is that Sean Tucker music?
the one, I mean, for both Sean Tucker and Rachaad White, man, the Bucky stuff it's spooking me. The like not having any kind of update that you feel great about practice wise. Missed the IR
Yeah,
stint. We're past that 4-week period.
that stuff is definitely weird. I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, it's giving similar to Amari Hampton, where it's kind of like, okay, but at least Hampton went on IR, so he kind of had some transparency around it.
Yeah.
Like Bucky Irving basically has been on IR.
Yeah.
But it is odd. He had 2 injuries, right? It was like his shoulder. And like his hamstring.
Yeah.
Or something. But yeah, I mean, as someone that has both of them on many teams, it stinks. Many of my seasons have been flushed down the drain.
The one nice thing is Rachaad White, I feel like will still kind of hold this. He has, 5 reception upside. That is just nice to have in this offense.
Yeah, he's like a juiced up Jeremy McNichols. Like you're guaranteed like 5 catches a game and he'll get you like 8 points. And you might get a breakout week and you might not.
Yeah. How are we feeling about Tet long term? I feel really good. I think he has shown and done everything that you want from stud, lock it in, wide receiver 1. Like a lot of the per route stuff looks really good. It's just the offensive environment is pretty bad. And it's hard. Like I think one of the worst things you can do in Dynasty is like overpay for what you only assume will get better at some point, when you have to also rethink about how realistically that will improve in the short term, right? Like what's the most likely scenario for next year for the Panthers? You give it one last year, the end of the contract with Bryce, he's not getting extended. Like, is that the best case for Tet?
Yeah, unless if like Bryce Young, I don't know, like
oh gosh.
like goes studies with monks or something and I don't know, like trains with Kevin Garnett. Like I need him to have like a Wimby off season.
There you go.
But honestly, I think the comparison is he's just going to be kind of like Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Very different players, but from a dynasty value perspective, it's going to be similar in that he will have a very long leash of everyone's like, well, his quarterback situation sucks. He's amazing. A quarterback situation sucks. And I agree. I think Garrett Wilson would be phenomenal if he had Joe Burrow. I think he would be amazing.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. And do I want to pay the elite dynasty price to get into a Tet? Probably not. Like I'm probably like in startup mocks and all this stuff that we're gonna do, I'm probably not gonna have a lot of Tet because it's gonna be hard for me to see why would I take him here when I can probably take a guy that's in a better situation that just doesn't have the name and the talent that Tet has, but it's going to score me points, which is ultimately what I want. Like I want to win fantasy leagues. I don't really want to have the coolest looking, Dynasty Daddy roster, but I do love Tet as a Panthers fan. I do think he's special, but you're probably on at least a 2-year thing before that
you've got the
offense gets a new quarterback in there.
Yeah, you assume the 5th-year option in 2027 that's available is probably not getting picked up at this point. But still, we still got the 4th year this next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll bring in somebody because the thing that another, not to sound like get off my lawn, but like
I'll put you full screen for this. Go ahead.
Like as a lifelong Panthers fan, I've never seen someone more babied than Bryce Young coming into the league. I mean, they acted like he's scared of everything. Like if you looked at him wrong, he'd like cry. Like they're like, we can't have anyone compete with him. Like bring in somebody to compete with him. Like actually compete with him. Now the 80-year-old Andy Dalton. Like people are treating him like he's a rookie. I'm like, it's his 3rd year. Like if he doesn't figure it out now, it's not going to be here. He may figure it out elsewhere. He may be on, Mike McDaniel 2.0 Dolphins with Bryce Young, but like we need something different here because this is not working. And
he would do a good Tua cosplay.
That's why, like, I he could. Honestly, it's a similar vibe to Tua, as in like literally he'll drop back to pass, and I'm like, oh god, what's gonna happen? But I mean, I think any decent backup that's available, I think the Panthers should sign, and give them at least some competition because like this team isn't as bad as they should be. Like their defense is bad, but that you have a good offensive line. You have
Yeah.
Tet, you have Jalen
Solid
Coker,
running
you
game.
have options. It's not amazing, especially if we get like Makai Lemon or something. Then it's like okay, like this should be good. Like we should not have issues passing the ball, but I don't really see there being an answer until something else changes.
Yeah. Noah here, looking for an RB2, currently stuck with Woody Marks. Either trust him going into these playoffs or try to move Pickens, Nico for a higher tier running back. If so, who to target? I think in this kind of situation,
Woody's roundup, baby.
Woody's roundup, especially with this last week. I mean, I think you for sure give it a week to like see. I mean, is this just the role for the future? Like he looked really good. The split was a pretty big stark with what we've seen most of the season. Difference with what we've seen most of the season with Chubb. So I think. I mean, you're not going to get to play the Jags every week. But he even left this game for a little bit and then came back and still had this awesome overall usage. So I'd probably be fine sticking with Woody as RB2 versus moving Nico Pickens for a running back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate moving Pickens. Trying to see what range you would get though.
Yeah, my own.
I feel like that's the hard part.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like flexing the running back you're moving Pickens for and you have like a solid wide receiver, like I get it. It's just I wouldn't be taking Woody out of my lineup so that I could plug in a running back and move off of Pickens because I do like that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Like, I feel okay rolling out Woody for now. If it's you, like, I mean, look, past 3 out of 4 weeks, he's had over 10 points.
Yeah,
it's not terrible. He had that 1 week with 2 points, and that was kind of a weird game script. And then he did have 1 week with 28 points back in week 4. So there's some upside, there's some usage. If anything, I'd maybe buy like an Aaron Jones for cheap or something, and just say maybe he's trending in the right direction and kind of adds some cheap depth without me having to give up one of my Nico Pickens kind of dynasty value, high upside wide receiver that's also contributing to my lineup.
Yeah, when I'm backed into a corner, that's when I usually do these kind of pivots. Like I was backed into a corner, well, pushing for the buy, but like backed into a corner of I need to make the move now if I'm going to be doing that. When I traded that first for Rico and Kenneth Walker, so I think I'd rather do that. I'm typically more inclined to do that versus not starting somebody like Woody. But I'm with you. Ooh, this one jumped out of my eye, and then we'll go back. What's up, Keegan? Came here when I saw the live now banner on the site. Let's go. Welcome.
Let's go, Keegan.
Someone sent me Dobbins and a 2027 first for my Derrick Henry contending and would have Bijan, Breece, Sharps as my backs. Should I take it? I'm pretty happily taking that, especially with that running back room.
Yeah, I was about to say in a vacuum, it's hard to say, ooh, do I want Dobbins, especially with like rumors of him hitting IR. But
yeah,
27 first, Derrick Henry, who, like, let's be honest, this is probably the last chopper out of Nam in terms of getting elite value, getting that first round pick for him. And then you get Bijan, Breece, and Sharps is kind of a startable, flexible asset at this point, given Kenneth Walker. So I feel good given what your running back room is. Give me that 27 first because trust me, when you come back here next time we say live now, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, next year, you're going to be like, oh my God, he wants his 2027 first round pick back. Everyone wants 2027 first round picks. So that to me is like, I can figure out how to get running back production if I need it back, but getting that 27 first round pick is going to be gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not going to do the timing of the end of Derrick Henry's career with the 2027 first round pick. But just wanted to put it out there.
Derrick Henry's never going to retire. I'm just never going to.
Keaton Mitchell breakout.
That's season. Never part of my strategy with him.
Yeah. No, it's straight up the first round pick, straight up. Versus like any Dobbins expectations or anything. And then even if it's making your contending team worse, like what are you turning around and flip the first round pick for? Sweet. I'll be back next week, Tuesday at what time? 9 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday night. Come to this channel. I will be here, or Jeremy will be here. Usually both. We got nothing better to do than to yap about Dynasty for 2 hours.
And not
that we want to have anything better to do.
breakdown trades and the talk fantasy.
And why don't I whip it up here on the screen? Feel free to, if you're not in the Discord, link is in the description. And we were doing this earlier, but you can post in the live stream ask channel. So this was one of the questions that was posted there. We did a breakdown of this guy's team going through this question. It was a 3-7 team out of playoff contention. So yeah, feel free to post your Dynasty Daddy link to your league and questions in there, or just in the chat as well. Thanks, guys, for sub. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
It means more than you know. All right. If you're a reloader, what would you pay for Kyler? Nothing. He's trash. Sorry, Cards fan here.
This is when I'm excited. That tells me I need
Kyler
to buy.
Murray time.
Dude, Kyler just keeps roping me in, and and the bar gets lower, but I'm still like what?
Would you move a second? Would you move a second straight up for Kyler in like most leagues?
Yeah.
I
pretty much any league I'd do that.
I would too. I would not move a first in any circumstance, I don't think. So would you move? You go to the Kyler owner and they're like, I gotta get out of this guy, and they say, give me 2 seconds. Are you pretty happy doing that?
I'd probably try to do like a second plus a player or something.
Yeah.
Just because at the end of the day, like I usually don't have too many seconds. Like I don't have a million of them, and I want, like I don't want to burn all my draft capital on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do see 2 seconds from one day ago. 12 teams start 9. 12 teams start 10. Chris Rodriguez in a second, easy. I'm doing like any of those throw in like a second and a third easily. I think 2 seconds is when it gets hard for me, just because, I just don't know. Like 2 seconds is just a lot of flexibility that I probably would rather wait to use those picks to plug holes when I need it instead of being like, let me take on a speculative player and hope that they pan out.
Yeah. All right, we've got a
don't get roped in.
you die hard once the COD is getting released. Let's see. We do have live stream ask. Shout out to Birds Builds. Got it right here. This is a 12 team start 9 single quarterback league. No picks in 2026. What route would you take with this team? Would you be trying to get your first round pick back? It probably would have to involve Lad or JJ. Would probably have to be a part of the deal to make that happen.
Ooh. Yeah, this is rough.
So it's also a rebuilding team. Oh wait, no, that's not yours. All right, this is a 5-5 contender that could use some wide receiver help. Maybe. Chase, Terry's hurt. They're playing Dubs, Diggs, Keenan. It's not too bad. Mahomes, Kyren, Breece, ETN. I think getting your first back will probably be difficult. If you are pushing the 201, I would probably try to find a way to get my second back. If it's on 4-16.
Do you just rip the Band-Aid off and like try to sell everything off here? Like I think this is one of those rare cases where I'm like, I'm probably just gonna try to split Justin Jefferson, try to split Lad. Like I have 227s. Can I get some, even if it's not my own first round pick back? Can I get some? Like I feel like I kind of need to split a lot of players and just hope I can hit on some players.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I hit on my 126 first round pick or something and this team is flipped around.
Right.
Like Jayden Daniels, I'm instantly shipping off. And like, can I get any sort of value for him? I know it's 1 QB, so that kind of adds an extra wrinkle there.
You probably have to wait and do the Jayden Daniels tier down heading into next season. Because I don't know what like interesting picks or tier downs someone's going to want to do right now, just while he's hurt and through the end of the season. But come rookie draft time, heading into next season
will say
when he's healthy, you can definitely do a tear down.
for a 1 QB league, the fact that only Mariota and Brissett are available on waivers
Looks like
is
super deep rosters.
pretty impressive.
Like, look at how big
It,
these
it
receivers and
probably
running back
means
rooms
that
are.
there's enough to like have some flexibility to actually be able to sell Jayden Daniels and get value for him, because it's not like there's a ton of value just sitting there on waivers.
Yeah, you do have to kind of find the right manager. But it would probably just have to be a bet tear down you're going to make with going to like Jackson Dart from this team next year, or
I do think you
whatever,
could
Justin
maybe get
Herbert.
your 26 first back.
Would you
Kings
move?
5-5.
You
They
think
have Jamar
Glad?
Chase, Terry McLaurin, Dobbs, Diggs, Keenan Allen. I do think you could probably say, hey man, like I want my pick back. Are you interested in like Lad? And kind of start the conversation there.
Yeah.
You know?
I would try to get.
I think that's the.
Would you try to be getting multiple? Like you get your first back, and then you try to get like a 27 second or something. Like you just try to get some more bites at the apple, just with what you need to do with this team and a single quarterback.
No, I mean I definitely would. I definitely would try that, but I also think you're gonna, kind of going back to that conversation with that Diaz posted.
Yeah, you gotta pay the tax.
They know they know that pick is like Jeremiah Love, so you kind of have to sit there and be like, yeah, like can I be that greedy? Or are they just gonna say, like I would rather just sit there and hold? Like I think Lad straight up for Jeremiah Love or Jordan Tyson isn't a terrible deal.
Yeah, I think you probably have to do it now. Like if you haven't started that conversation at all, I would definitely test the waters, just because the closer you get to the playoffs, like I know some people talk about more moves happen in their leagues once it comes bye week, but I think in the same vein, if not more so, teams realize, well, I'm only going to get this guy for 4 weeks, so why am I moving this first round pick that's going to be a top end pick that'll come to fruition 5 months from now versus a player for 5 games?
I don't know. I just pinged you in the Discord.
Yeah.
I think we may have another live stream ask. I don't know if we hit that one.
I think this one. Oh no, yeah. Thanks, Jan. Says this team away as an orphan at the beginning of the season. Already didn't have the pick. That's tough. A shout out to you for taking over those orphans that don't have their future
Honestly,
picks. That is,
I hope you didn't have to pay for your dues.
Yeah. That
you're doing the Lord's work there.
You are.
It's a rescue.
All right, Labellium here. We've got yours. You're ready. Jeremy keeps me accountable. All right. Got the team here. All right. Don't worry, guys. So Labellium here. Do we have the team name? Do you know?
It's too Kittle too late.
Labellium right here. All right, sweet. Here we go. Bang.
I was doing the same thing. I was like, which one is it?
Dang, that T-Liar. All right. Similar question. Wondering what to trade to make up a first. 26 and 27 gone. I still have a shot at the playoffs, so also wondering if there are other moves I can make this week. Is a trade deadline. Wow. 12 teams, start 8. Ooh. Single quarterback. You got Jacobs, Kyren, Breece, Trayvon, CeeDee, Nico, Lad, QJ Downs, Jacoby, Kittle, Fannin. I mean, it's a pretty strong starting team. Jacobs, Kyren, Breece.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel CeeDee, bad Nico, about this team.
Especially, it's very shallow. So like the Trayvon, Quentin Johnston that you would feel slightly worse about starting, like you don't have to play those guys. Like you are able to roll out Goff, Jacobs, Kyren, Breece, CeeDee, Nico, Lad. I don't think we have any buys this week, right? It's Colts and other teams have the bye this week. But no, I don't think I would be would you be trying to move any of your depth at receiver for some picks in 26? Like, would you move one of those receivers to try to get a second or something?
Not really. I think the only move I'd potentially consider is like, do I take like Trayvon Henderson and staple him to Nico Collins and try to tier up?
Yeah. I like that.
Can I tier, like, is there any bad like team that's underperforming and has like some elite producer on it that I can maybe try this? Like this 3-7 team has Jonathan Taylor, which
Oof.
tell me how you do that in a shallow league. I don't know, but that's kind of the move I would be trying to make. It's like,
Yeah.
Hey, you're rebuilding. Here's Trayvon Henderson and Lab McConkey. Like, let's have a conversation. You know, because like just tossing in a Jacobs, Kyren, Jonathan Taylor, like this team would be an absolute wagon.
I like that. It's a 3-7 team with James Cook. They've got Chase and Jefferson, and then it's Kayshon Boutte, Demario Douglas. Like, can
Trust
you?
the process with Rico Dowdle.
Okay, I like that.
Like, I'm not worried about not having picks here, but I would definitely be like, okay, let me try to get some difference making RBs.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, is there some difference maker that I can just buy that doesn't fit a rebuilding window without giving up like a first round pick? I'd be fine doing like a second for Dowdle.
Yeah. 70% to make the playoffs. I mean, 5-5 is kind of, especially with the trade deadline this week, I think you do have a nice, decent gap where you are not up against any 4-win teams. So for the 6th spot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do think it is pretty tight. So it's the
That
other
8-2
5-5 team
is something, man.
and a 6-4 team here. I wonder how bad this 6-4 team is. 3-0.
Oh, okay. Interesting wrinkle.
Yeah.
I think it has IDP.
Oh.
I clicked one of the team pages.
Well, yeah,
and
I
they
do
have
see
like IDP
DF
players.
kicker as well.
So I do think it is shallow, but it probably makes sense why some teams like. Oops, I hit my mic. Like some teams like the Jonathan Taylor team don't have what's it called? Don't have a winning record. Because if it was a true like start 9, Jonathan Taylor should be scoring like half your points.
Yeah. No, I like that move. And I do think, especially with it being like, I think this team is strong enough where this is a scary team to run up against in the playoffs. So I don't hate, even without having picks, doing that kind of tier up move you talked about for a smash. But I think this team
like downs in a third for Dowdle. And
yeah, I like that.
And then like you feel good about your running back room. And then maybe try to see what conversations can you do with a Henderson for James Cook or JT type of swap.
Yeah. I like that. I locked in and hit the mute button as mid sneeze. That was a no look mute. Got you guys. Peak form. Pre-P. All right.
I think that's all the live stream asks.
Anything
in chat? Anything
Olave for a 28 first. Already have 26 and 27 first from the same owner. Traded JT to him. Olave for a 28 first. I'd probably rather just have.
This is the move that kicks the manager out of the league. Like this is the one where it's like once he has to actually pay the credit card bill of I don't have any picks till 2029. He's like, why the hell did I trade all of that? I probably am just doing this out of process, even though it's so far away. But I'm like,
I think a first for Olave is fair.
2029.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair price, but I think in terms of like building your team this way, Yes, injury issues. Yeah, I mean, quarterback situation, like, it's kind of tough. Like, what if the Saints team just rolls it back? We get a year of Shuck, and it feels pretty similar to what we've had this year with him. No QB, true. Yeah, I like Olave. But a lot of times when
I
you
like him, but
stockpile these picks, like you end up.
yeah,
This is how you build the super teams. It's not through holding on to Olave types. It's to cashing out for firsts. Actually tanking for a season. You can hit on one of these, top 5, top 10 rookie wide receivers, and then go from there.
yeah, or like 2027 comes around and that team is stinking it up, and you have their 28 first, and they're like, hey, I'll trade you all my contending pieces, like a 30-year-old Olave or whatever, and 30-year-old JT, and like I'll trade everything just to get that pick back. And all of a sudden you get like 6 old starters that are still producing fine.
Yeah.
The flexibility of having so many first round picks, and this team doesn't have any picks till 2029 if this deal goes through. It's hard. It's like, I'm usually not about trading for 2028 first. I don't, unless if your league is so stingy. I have some leagues that are so stingy about picks. They're like, I won't ever trade. Like, all 26 picks are locked up with rebuilders. All 27 picks are basically locked up. So it's like, okay, well, that's kind of the next, like, you kind of have to, if the league markets that way, you kind of have to do that. But in a league like this, like, I not necessarily know how flexible picks are, but I usually don't care about 2028 picks. That being said, if this guy doesn't have any first round picks till 2028, he has to hit on like a Puka Nacua to keep this thing going in a late round. Otherwise, like the wheels are going to fall off eventually.
And the one nice thing about, I mean, what are the odds Olave is like the story of the season next year, where it's like, man, you had Olave. Like, everyone that's got Olave is absolutely smashing in their leagues. Like, he is not going to have that kind of JT effect. So those kind of moves where it's
He's
like
not having a Puka, yeah.
Right, where it's like, I have this manager's first next year, and they're giving away more flexibility to me, and it's for a piece that I don't think is going to be difference making. Like, Olave will be good, yes, but like the reason that guy has a buy, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
I think it's a fair. I think it's totally a fair price.
I would do it. I would do it like in a heartbeat. But I do think the fair, like, it's kind of like the JT conversation, right? Of like, are you going to get Jonathan Taylor for a first round pick? It's like, maybe, like, but now you obviously can't because Jonathan Taylor's exploding. You're probably not going to have that with Olave. It's much rarer in wide receivers. Like, the only ones that really hit that are guys that you're already paying that elite price for. Guys like Puka, guys like JSN, guys like Jamar Chase. Whereas Olave, we don't see guys from Olave tier break into JSN Puka tier after being in the league for 5 years very often.
Oh, I do like Olave.
Running backs, you can kind of see that. You can kind of see that with running backs randomly.
I do have a small glimmer of hope with the Kellen Moore and situation, but I think it is going to be kind of one of those quarterback dependent situations, and I just don't know how easy it's going to be for that to be resolved in the next season or two. Curious what he peaked rankings wise. Yeah, I don't think it's this year. Definitely not. I think it would be some of those smash games with Carr. Yeah, he had a couple of smash games, and anytime like a first or second year receiver like has these monster games, I mean, we could probably
I can pull it up quick. All-time high was wide receiver 5.
Wow. I mean,
on keep trade cut.
Early, these like early mid first round
Dynasty Daddy was rank 11. But Dynasty Daddy doesn't go as far back.
Okay. All right, I
currently wide receiver 20.
All right. Any key call outs you want to make as we're kind of approaching the trade deadline period? I assume, thinking ahead content wise, the focus will probably be some of these trade deadline leagues. I feel like week 13, 14 is typically around right before the playoffs, like leagues that do have trade deadlines. But we got our first question of the night where somebody referenced a trade deadline happening this week. So some of them are pushed up to, week 11. So any call outs before we probably dive deeper into it next week that you would think or want to communicate leading into trade deadline season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a mixture of both, right? Like there's parts of me that sometimes I want to get ahead of it. Like I don't want the contenders to have all the players, and they don't want, like, it's like a game of musical chairs where it's like some contenders want an Alvin Kamara, but then if they already have like a bunch of running backs, they don't really give a crap about Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
But then, so it's like finding the balance of how many teams in your league want to buy in, and what their needs are, and trying to get there before other rebuilding teams get to them. Because you don't want to be stuck with Alvin Kamara on a team that's not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That just doesn't fit either of your needs, and even if you need to sell a little bit lower, I think Aaron Jones type as well, but like I think he has a 2-year deal. I don't know about Kamara, but that's kind of the way I try to play it. But then there's also the other angle of like, it is week 14, there's still probably going to be injuries. I mean, every week we have some guy get injured for at least 4 weeks. So you could still kind of play that game as well. But it is a lot of like finding how comfortable, like what's your shot of getting a bye? Do I need to push in to get a bye? If you don't, then it's like, okay, am I a serious like 3-4 team, or am I like a fringe 16? Like, let's hope we get hot.
Yeah.
If I'm in that kind of range, I'm looking to try to see if I can extract some value while still threading the needle of like maybe the core of my roster can carry me, but like the Zach Ertz is not really necessary. Maybe I can get value for him.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think the only thing I would add to, and you mentioned there at the end, obviously we talked about the buy stuff earlier, and you mentioned it there at the end, but as these rebuilding teams that are out of the playoffs for sure, like it is on you to do more than just putting a player on the block that just had a good week. Like Alvin Kamara has a good week, he's on the block. No, you need to do the legwork of pulling up Dynasty Daddy, looking for the teams that actually would buy an Alvin Kamara type, like you talked about, that musical chair aspect of like you got to find the right teams that are willing to play ball with you, because what you don't want to do is hold on to these players that you could have sold for a second, and the best they get you is the third heading into actual rookie draft season, because that is the biggest, I think, value discrepancy with point scoring and rookie picks is this kind of middle part of the season heading into bye weeks for the playoffs versus no one's scoring points and we're heading into the rookie drafts, like how much those picks go for, and the discrepancy between the two value wise.
Absolutely.
And I think that is the perfect note to go pee on. Thank you all for tuning in to the stream. See you next week, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, as always. Much love and good luck. And I wanted to mention and pull it up, and we should have done this at the beginning of the stream. The fantasy red zone for the club members was sick. Looks like it will be sick. I know the little bit different of a layout where you get to see like all the teams and stuff across your leagues.
You like it?
I'm getting pumped. I wanted to at least make sure I mentioned it, and I realized I did not up until this point. So if you are a club member,
well, everyone that sat through it all.
no, it's some good feedback too. That's what I love about the way that you implement things into the site is, like sharing those screenshots and having people look at it and talk through like, oh, it'd be cool if the socials are on this side, and I like seeing players I have. Sick, man. Good work.
It's a hard thing because like the real time data is always a tough aspect of it all.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the current layout is pretty solid, and the goal is to eventually release it to everyone. But I want to kind of work out a lot of the kinks, because the super users, the club access, they're also much more patient than random people that are like, why is my thing not working? So
that's true.
They're usually like giving more, more in the weeds of how they would, like to use it, and what best I can add to make it a better tool.
Definitely. Well, stay tuned for that and more from the dynasty-daddy.com website. Appreciate you all. Link to join the Discord's in the description. Catch you on the flip side. Good luck this week. Peace out.